I'm Hazel. I work with PSB Productions, and I am fascinated with the insurance work, the insurance industry. So I'm gonna walk over here, walking into Bright Star Insurance. So let's have a few questions, and let's see what we can get done today.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Good, good, good. How's everything?
Good, and yourself?
Good, good, good. How's it going? What's going on?
Well, I want to tell you that I'm very fascinated with the insurance industry and the work that you do here in the agency. So I want to know if I can have like a few minutes of your time, maybe ask you some questions and
Sure, but only 10 minutes because I'm very busy.
totally understandable.
No problem.
Okay, let's take a
You
look.
can put the camera over there, yeah. But it's not going to be the best picture, but it's okay. It's fine.
Okay. It'll just be a few moments.
This is going to go on YouTube?
Yes, it is actually.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's take a seat. Let's go. Let's ask.
Thank you.
Ask whatever you need to. Just be ready for the confrontation because I like confrontation, but be ready for it, I guess.
The more confrontational, the better it is.
Go ahead. Yeah, here we go. Oh my God, luckily I got a haircut, I guess.
Well, Nathan, let me say, I did my insurance here with you guys, and I was fascinated with the service. I have to start by saying that.
Sure.
Now, I did it with one of your reps here. Now, I also had the chance to meet you, so it brought curiosity to me. I see you're actually very young. You're relatively young. So my first question to you is, what got you into the insurance industry at such a young age?
I started off with insurance. I used to be in the pharmacy business.
Oh, wow.
And I used to do sales. I used to do sales with pharmaceutical sales.
Okay.
And then when I was in the pharmaceutical sales, I got approached by a lady one day, and she said to me, she saw me doing a presentation, and she said, "You did the presentation so well. Why don't you go into life insurance sales?" And I said, "Life insurance sales? I said, what the hell is that?" I didn't know what it was. So she goes, "Life insurance sales is when you sell life insurance." And I remember her very clearly. She opened up the screen and she said to me, she showed me like she had deposits of like $2,000 or $3,000 in a couple of sales. I said, "Okay." So I said, "What do I have to do?" "Get your license." Now this is something that I'm going to tell you that a lot of people out there in the world, in general, don't know how to give credit to somebody when they need to give credit. And I'm the first person to give credit to somebody, especially when it comes to my family. And one of the people that I have to give most of the credit to in my life, as far as the business that I'm in, is my wife.
Oh, wow. She motivated you to go into the...
It's a little bit more than that. She actually made me quit my job.
Oh.
Where I was. And I remember very clearly telling her, if I quit my job and something happens, it's going to be your fault. And she said, "Yeah, go ahead and quit." And I went and quit. I sat at home for 3 months till I passed my test. Passed my test. When I passed my test, I got into the life insurance business. I started selling life insurance. But then what happened was, over time, I'm a very, what I would say, numbers person. And I started to realize that a lot of the stuff that was going on in the recruiting system was very, it was more of a recruiting business versus a business of really making you succeed, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because they want you to make you feel like you're going to make $100,000 a month when in reality the numbers don't add up. So with that being said, I basically at one point I just came and I said, "You know what? I'm done with the business." Number one. Number two, it was a very difficult business for me to be in because of the fact that a lot of the people that I deal with were very hard to sell them life insurance, because a lot of people that I deal with in my community don't believe in life insurance. So it was very hard to deal with them with that type of business. So I relied a lot on door knocking. I used to go door to door selling life insurance.
Did you see that as a challenge?
As far as the door knocking?
As far as actually, since I know life insurance is a very difficult product. So did you see that it's very difficult to sell because I know I believe the customer has to qualify for it, if I'm not mistaken. Did you see that as a challenge as far as like getting somebody to convincing someone to buy the life insurance, or?
No, once I was in the house with the customer, it was an issue for me to close them. The problem is with life insurance, because it's a luxury, it's not a necessity. People don't feel like they need it. You get a lot of bullshitters. When I say bullshitters, I mean people that tell you they're gonna come and they tell you to come at a certain time and you come and nobody's there. People hide behind the curtain. People don't generally like to. They're not welcoming you where, "Here's a check for $100,000. Come and buy for me." It's more, you know what I mean. But then they don't realize that actually one day, God forbid, something happens to you, I'm the one that's gonna be delivering that $100,000 check to your family.
Oh.
So people don't realize that. People think that you're coming here and you're asking me for money, but I'm not really gaining, because people look, in general with life insurance, any way you look at it, people look at it as, and this is the reality, you don't really enjoy it. It's not something that you're going to enjoy today. It's something that your family is going to enjoy, but it's really there to take care of you. So most people look at it and they go, what am I going to get out of life insurance now? So I'll get it now for 2-3 months, and after 2-3 months, if anything, I'll figure it out. I'll go either that or I'll go somewhere else and I'll get some more life insurance. Because with life insurance, there's really no commitment. You ever see a life insurance company? Most of them, when you don't pay, they don't send you collection letters. Most of them. With auto insurance, they will, because auto insurance, they know that you need it, so they'll keep sending you letters. They'll get your license. But with life insurance, nobody gives a shit. You pay it today, you don't pay it tomorrow, and that's it. Now, as far as an agent, what I found the complications with it was that there's a lot of information that these companies don't tend to give you up front. When I say don't tend to give you up front, I mean as they'll show you all the sweet sides, but they won't show you the bad sides. When I mean the bad sides, I mean, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Just for example, and I'll speak names because these are the facts. For example,
yes, please do. Be totally honest with this.
Okay.
Speak your mind if you have to.
For example, Primerica.
Okay.
Today, Primerica has become more of a system that I can tell you that's more of recruiting it's more of a recruiting business than actually taking people and teaching them how to sell insurance. I can bring 10 people right now that work at Primerica and they'll tell you, oh yeah, what are you looking to do? I'm looking to recruit. So it's not to say that, God forbid, they're a bad company. I actually love the way their system is, because a lot of them sell term insurance. I'm a big believer of term insurance. Not to say the whole life is junk, but I'm a big believer in term insurance. But I think being that you're selling a product that you're selling, there should be more of an emotion involved in it when you're selling life insurance than to come across as somebody that's selling, sorry to say, electronics on the street. Because it's almost like, come in and make $100,000 and this and this. Okay, go work at Best Buy, you could do that. Go work at telemarketing in AT&T, you could do that. But why take it into a subject that's so sensitive, where it's life insurance, and make people feel all stand up and everything, where you're sending these people to somebody's house to help them take care of their final wishes. It shouldn't be so much of a sales, it should be more of an emotion thing. And with the emotion comes the sale. I could show you some of the biggest producers that I know. Because I have went through, when I first started working in the business, I used to work in final expense, which is the burial ones. And the people that I met there, I always thought they were the biggest producers, and they're not. The biggest producers were some of the big dogs that I met in the big companies. And the big producers all have one thing in common, all of them. And it's all one simple fact that they all have in common.
Would you like to share that with me?
Yes, and I'll tell you what it is. It's all there helping people. They don't care about, they don't do it for the money. And I know a lot of people look at me and say, yeah, but the money, it's important. It is important. But in anything you do in life, even if it's somebody that wants to make a lot of money, if you're the type of person that's going to go out there and start chasing something, like looking at the dollar figure, you're not going to get the big figure that you want. If you go out there with a mindset that you want to help people, you're going to make a lot of money. And it's anything you do, and you got to love what you do. You can't get into the insurance business because I want to get into the insurance business because I was told that I can make 10-figure income, a month. Can you do it? Yes. But you have to love what you do, because insurance is all about building. It's not about sell this, make a $50 profit and move on. Sell this, sell 10 a month, you get a bonus. It's not that. Because this, you take it, you sell this phone, you make your profit and you move on. There's no chargeback on it. It's great. Unless the person brings back the unit, but most of the time people don't bring units. With life insurance, it's more of a system where it's like somebody giving you a credit card.
Okay. And
saying, here's a credit card, swipe it. So you sell a policy for $100, multiply that by 12, that's $1,200, swipe $1,200, that's yours. Now, there's conditions behind that. The conditions behind that is if that person doesn't keep that insurance for 12 months, you got to pay back whatever it is remaining of the 12 months. So say they cancel after 6 months, and you got $1,200 advance commission for 12 months, but they only kept it for 6 months, you got to pay back $600.
Oh.
Now, when you go to those meetings with the insurance business, they don't tell you these things. They're going to tell you, oh yeah, you can make $200 a month, and bullshit. But they don't tell you the sweets, the bad side to it, so to say. They tell you the sweet stuff. It's like one of those places where they go where they say it's sometimes too good to be true. And a lot of times that's how these places are run. So what I always tell people in general when people want to get into the insurance business, I always say look at the factors with everything. You know what I mean? Life insurance is great. What got me into it the most was that I love selling. I've always been obsessed with selling. I love to make deals happen. When a deal happens, it makes me get very excited. I like it. It makes me get going. And I took my kind of, so to speak, disadvantage, which is the hyperactivity that I have, because I'm very hyperactive. So I took that hyperactive energy and I kind of transformed it into the business. instead of me, looking for things to do, which is what I was doing in the pharmaceutical industry, because the pharmaceutical industry, you typically don't make a sale for sometimes for 2 months. When you walk into a nursing home and you go, I can save you money on these medications. It's not one of those things where it's like, here, take it, sign the contract, let's go. It's a lot of follow-up, a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't buy. I wanted something more where, give you the presentation, I'll sell now. Which is another reason why I never got into real estate. A lot of people ask me, why didn't you get into real estate? And I always say, I don't get into real estate because real estate is one of those things that you sell, but you don't make, you have to wait for the commission.
Absolutely, always.
Number one. Number two, real estate I don't like because it's one of those things where it's such a saturated market. I mean, it's such a market with so much people inside it. Not that I'm scared of competition. I'm the first to tell you that I love competition. But there's so many people in it. Because everybody that gets, a lot of the people that get into real estate have this mindset that I'm going to go in there, I'm going to sell one property for $600,000 and I'll make a ton of money. Then you got to deal with approvals. And you got to deal with so much stuff. It's just so much stuff where it's not something that pushed me to it. Insurance has always been something that pushed me to it. I've always loved the insurance business because it's more of a business also that you're helping people. But I went more towards the auto market than the life market in the long run. Only because of the fact the life market was something that I did very well in. I made a lot of money doing it. I'm not gonna lie, which I can't complain about it. But I wanted something more with a structure, with an office. You know what I mean? When you come in and you have people come in, and it's more of a service thing, and it's very, very different than the life business. So if that answers your question.
That actually answers my next question. Actually, I was actually going to ask you, then if it was going so well for you in the with life insurance, why did you transition from financial services, which is life, to PNC? Well, you just answered my question. You told me that you liked a lot of the auto.
Yeah, I like the auto, and I like
insurance.
this. I like the service. I like a lot of the service. I like to deal with the service with the customers. And I'll be honest with you also, with life, I found that there's a lot of, sorry to say, bullshitters. It's a lot of bullshitting in life. When I say bullshitting in life, I mean as far as
agents, or as far as the customers, or would you say on both sides?
I would say on both sides.
I
would say on both sides, as far as the fact that with the customer, it's a lot of appointments that you have, and a lot of them don't seem to commit to an appointment. Whereas with auto insurance, it's more of a system where I got a letter in the mail from the DMV. I know that if you come to me, you tell me to come to your office for an appointment, I'm going to come. Because I know that I have to get this situated. Because if not, DMV is going to be, sorry to say, on my ass making sure I get the insurance. Absolutely. So it's different. Number one. Number two, with life also, with auto, I liked also because with auto, with PNC, you have more control of everything. With life, you don't have control. I didn't like that. And I'm one of the guys that I love control. Most entrepreneurs like to have control of what they do. With life, I felt that it was just a closed market, where it was, and I can give you a simple example of one thing. With auto, if you call me and give me your credit card number or your account number, I can call in and make the payment for you. With auto, it takes me 5 minutes to tell your auto insurance policy. But yet, I can call into the company, make a payment on your behalf with your credit cards. With life, that it's such an emotional sale. If you think about it, you're telling me everything about your life, everything from A to Z, and you're crying to me and everything. When you have to update simple stuff like credit cards or EFT or do whatever it is, you can't call me, you have to call the company direct. If I call them with your kind of information, they want me to do it. They're going to tell the customer to call us in, which is absurd. So you trust me to go get the application from them and everything, but if it comes to other stuff, I can't do it. That's what I didn't like about life, and that's why I didn't like that part of the control. Number two. Number three.
The servicing?
Life, there's no servicing. That's the beauty of life. With auto, there's a lot of servicing. That's the bad side of auto. But then again, with PNC world, if you want to not deal with the service side, you go into the commercial side, which is what I'm very good at also, the commercial side, which is a lot of, you have to know the information, you have to know what to put where, because there's a lot of stuff to fill out. With auto, you basically name, date of birth, how many people live in the household over 15, regardless if they drive or not, is the car used for business, blah, blah. You get into all the bullshit stuff, other stuff. How many cars, coverages, you discuss with them, the BI, the UM, the PIP, the deductibles and every stuff, you're done. With commercial, it's a lot of stuff. You can get into specific codes for every carrier. You can get into, loss runs. You have to send in stuff. And with commercial, it's more of a slow sale, versus auto. It's more of a 5-minute sale. With auto, you can sell 5 policies in 10 minutes. With commercial, it's not that quick, because with commercial, a lot of the carriers want you to send them the quote, and then they quote it for you and they send it back to you. So it's a very, very different market.
Oh, okay. So, and what would you say are the pros and cons of this industry?
The pros, I would say, very, very simple, which is something I always talk about. That there's a myth out there, which is not. I'm sorry, it's not really a myth.
Okay.
There's a saying that I always have that people say that you can retire in this business after 15 years. 10 years. That's not a myth. That's true. You can retire if you build this book good. You can retire. The bad side of this business, though, is after 10 years, when they say retire, it doesn't mean retire, close the doors and walk out. It means retire as far as I have to sell the book, I have to let somebody manage the book and keep going. Because the way this business is structured, you cannot leave the office and just go. You gotta always have an agent service the policies. The companies, the insurance industry does not let the agents buy from the direct. They want to compete against, sorry to say, a lot of times against their own agents. So for example, if somebody goes and buys direct, why do they need me for? The only reason they come to us is for service, which is why I always go into service is number one, guys. Make sure that you focus on service. If you don't give people service, people are not going to buy from you. What differentiates you than Joe Schmo down the street? I'll tell you what differentiates me. If I wanted to, I could give simple service, and the thing that differentiates me from any other agency is the fact that we do credit repair. Nobody out there does credit repair. So it's a big advantage that we have here. You know what I mean?
Yes, I heard about that too, and that actually brings me to my next question to you, Nathan. What made you combine credit repair along with property and casualty insurance? Because you're actually the first agent that I ever hear that actually does property and casualty along with another type of business, because credit repair is a totally different industry. What made you combine it? How did you come up with the idea?
2008, when the market crashed, and I was doing.
When did the recession? When we had the recession, the real bad recession, right?
Correct. When I was doing insurance back then, when I started doing life insurance, I got into a lot of problems with credit cards myself. At that point, I approached one person and I said, I have an issue. And he said, what's the issue? And I said, the issue is that I want to fix my credit because I was having issues. I was trying to buy a house. And that person told me, I said, okay, if you want to come, I can go ahead and help you out and I can take care of you. I said, what do I have to do? You have to do this and this and this. It turned out that this guy was trying to get money out of me, a bunch of money out of me. He was telling me, pay this huge figure, so and so, and we can fix it for you. I started to sense that something was wrong. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do it myself, just like I did the immigration myself. I did everything myself. I have a mindset that when I want something, I go online to Amazon, I buy like 10 books, and I read about them, and I do everything myself. So that's what I did with the credit repair. I went online, bought 10 books, read through all of them, and I said, what better to do is to practice on yourself. And I started to do it on myself. And I was able to get a lot of stuff removed. Yet, the only thing is, when I did it for myself, I didn't know the guidelines as far as the strict guidelines with credit repair. You can't just go out there and, start disputing things to people. It has to be done the legal way, which is to make sure the customer acknowledges this is what's going on, this is what I agree to, this is what I don't agree to. And then I studied the laws and I said, for the first 20 people that I do it for, I'm going to do it for free, which is what I did. And it turns out those 20 people brought me a lot of success because they were able to go out there and refer me more people. Today I'm at a stage where I have over 6,000 plus auto insurance customers. I haven't even got down to maybe 15% of them to sell them credit repair. But yet everybody wants service from me for credit repair. Everybody's coming to me credit repair. And I can show you stuff that there's people out there that won't even touch, that I basically went and touched and I got to delete other people's credit rates. But the one thing with me is I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not the type of guy, because I see a lot of people come to me and they tell me, excuse me, there's a guy that told me you can delete my bad stuff from my credit. And I'm like, did you do that stuff? Yeah. Okay. If you do that stuff, you can't just go delete it. The whole idea of credit repair is that you delete stuff that the person does not know what it is, or he has no idea, or he acknowledges that he didn't do that. That's what credit repair is. But then, yet people out there, I see them always, college loans deleted, this deleted, this deleted, this deleted. And I'm like, why the fuck are you bullshitting people, man? Why are you telling people that you can delete that stuff when it's total nonsense? Because what you're doing is you're just putting a belief into people to think that, yes, I can delete it. And all they're doing is very simple. They're sending a letter to the credit bureau, which is a very simple letter. It's a standard letter. I could show you what it looks like. I don't have it in front of me. They send the letter to them. The credit bureau gets it. It's an automatic system in the computer. The credit bureau gets it, and they verify. If they verify, they keep it on. If they don't verify, they have to take it off. Sometimes, because they get so backed up, they're not able to prove it, so they take it off. But you know what happens the following month? They send it back again, and that goes back on your credit.
Wow.
So I always tell people, don't believe what you hear out there. It's not always true. The reality of credit repair should be done properly. did you go? I always ask people, did you go to the hospital? The first thing they say is no. And I say, honestly, you don't remember any of these hospital bills? Oh yeah, I do. I say, okay, now that you told me the truth, I can help you. You have $10,000 of debt. Okay, what my job is now to do is I'm going to go negotiate with the hospitals, and I'm going to drop it from 10,000 to 2,000. But the only thing is, if I drop it to 2,000, are you able to write me a check now for $2,000? Which is actually not a check. We use a cashier's check, because with credit bureaus, you never want to give them the collections companies. I'm sorry, you never want to give them a credit card over the phone or routing an account number, because you're actually authorizing them to charge you in the future. And then we come to an agreement. That's it. It's taken off your credit, and it's done legally, and everything is legit. Rather than the customer come after 2 months. Oh, I went to this credit guy, and this credit guy screwed me. For what? What are you going to get out of it?
It sounds to me like you're very knowledgeable and just straightforward and to the point.
You have to be straightforward to the point. If you bullshit people, people will come back, and people know that you will screw them. People are not stupid. So I could screw you now. Yeah, I collected money off you. What am I going to do for 3 months? And what holds up today? Reputation.
Absolutely, totally.
So reputation. So I can go and do this to you, but if you look on there online, how many credit repair companies out there go and put put Google reviews or put reviews about their companies? They don't. Just like insurance agencies don't put reviews. If you go out there to insurance agencies, you're not going to see them actually posting reviews on their system.
That's actually one of the things that brought me here to actually speak to you about this, because after doing my insurance here with this agency, I actually saw all the reviews because I wanted to write a positive review for you of what a great job you guys did and how pleased I was with the service. And I read all the reviews, and all your reviews are fantastic, Nathan. I have to say.
Yeah, because I always work on service. I always tell people, listen, I probably went through, and a lot of people out there probably laugh, which is true. I probably went through so many employees in the last probably 3 years. I went for a ton of employees. And the reason why is because I have a 0% tolerance rate as far as service. Service to me is number one. If you don't give the customer service, it is what it is. I've actually fired somebody because they were on the phone with the customer and they cut the customer off. Where it was, she was trying to ask questions and she was cutting off.
Oh, no.
And I basically said, come into the office, and she goes, what happened? I said, you're out. And she tried to justify. I said, don't you understand? And I first gave her a chance. I said, tell me you're wrong and I'll help you. No, I said, okay, fuck off. You're out of here. I don't give a fuck.
Which, that's where the controversial that you mentioned earlier comes into play.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And the reality of it is, speak your mind. 80% of my customers today, if you ask them why you would A&J Insurance, which Rising Star Insurance, which is me, Rising Star Insurance is the old name. We have transferred to A&J Insurance because of my kids. But most people, you ask them, they'll tell you, because Nathan keeps it real. I don't bullshit. If I fuck up on something, I'll tell you that I fucked up on it, which is the way to be in life in general. A lot of agencies, no, this guy's to blame. You're your fault. You didn't do this and this. Wow. I can tell you that there are times that customers did everything right as far as underwriting, everything right, and I fucked up. And I went out of my own pocket and I paid the money for them to go ahead and do the insurance. Meaning, as far as cost price, whatever it cost me from the insurance company, whatever the difference was that they're supposed to pay monthly, I paid the difference for them. I helped them out. I actually gave them a money and said, you know what, this is for you to be able to help you out, as a gift, because it wasn't their fault. It was something that's my fault. And the insurance companies won't look at that way. They just, this is what it is, end of story.
Which I can actually say that it actually says a lot about you. It proves your honesty, your integrity, the fact that you're willing to help the customer.
Of course.
Which is something that you don't see nowadays in any other insurance agency. Now,
you have to, listen, you have to, and we'll cut this off in the next 5 minutes because I have a bunch of work to do.
Yes, of course.
You have to, one thing I can say in life, you got to be honest, you got to be straight, and you got to have a mindset of, sorry to say that, I always say it, and I'm sorry if it comes out in the wrong way, not to give a shit. Not to give a shit. Learn to handle things face to face with issues, whatever it is. Don't get on the phone with the customer and be an asshole. Never. Trust me, there are times that
speak to you or buy from you ever again.
Yeah, and then listen, there have been times where if it comes to a situation where I have to say something to a customer, I'll say it. And the customer will go off with me and everything, but the thing is, 10 minutes later, we're best friends. And I've showed people in this office where they get into a huge argument with the customer. Oh, fuck you. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, this and this. And trust me, I can be the most confrontation in the world because I love confrontation. It's part of my personality. As a hyperactive person, we love confrontation. But I never get to that situation where, I take a bad situation and I turn it into a good situation. Because our customers are everything to us. If you don't have customers, you don't have business.
You don't have anything. And the customer actually, I would say that you mainly rely on the customer rather than the customer relying on you. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now,
and not only that, I actually go the extra step for the customer also. A lot of agencies today, I see the way they work. It's very much like, I would say, sorry to speak, like a robot mentality. Where it's like, Come in, you sit in an office that's usually dusty and everything, and you walk in there and you go, how can I help you? And it's like, hey, walk into 10 agencies around here. They all do the same thing. And usually the people that are sitting behind the desk are miserable. They're just there because they want to collect a paycheck. And half of them don't give a shit. And most of the people that go, they only go there because they have to buy insurance. And they don't have a choice. And they feel like, I'm going to go with this guy, maybe this guy can help me. But I said, why don't create an environment when somebody comes in, they get coffee, they get lunch, and they get, they get spoiled, just like when you go to a salon, you go do your hair. Don't you get spoiled? Would you rather go to a salon where you walk in and somebody goes to you, sit on the chair, let me cut your hair? Or would you rather walk into a salon where you see those big salons where somebody walks in and sits down and they go, would you like us to bring you a coffee? Would you like us to sit down? Would you like you have magazines? You sit down, people are there to make you happy. Would you like to eat something? You know what I mean? They actually go out of the way for you to help you, rather than, how can I help you? What do you want?
Absolutely, totally agree with you there. Now, I know you're really busy, so my last question, we can go ahead and wrap this up, and I don't want to take up most of your time because I know you have a lot of clients waiting for you.
Sure.
What advice would you give to an individual like myself who is looking to get into this industry?
You gotta love it. You gotta be very, very, very motivated. Very motivated because there's a lot of sharks out there. You got to put yourself in situations where people are not, that are scared to do. I've had times where I've had other agents all the time tell me, I'm going to do this to you and I'm going to put you out of business and everything. And I'm like, go ahead, try it. And I've had those situations where because I'm in a business where everybody competes against me. As far as when I say everybody competes, there's a lot of sharks out there trying to do what I'm doing. But a lot of them can't do what I'm doing because there are some things that I do in this business that nobody else could do. Just like, for example, the credit repair. Go walk up to 100 agents out there and ask them how many do credit repair. Most of them don't. Most of them that do it, that will tell you that they do it, they use a company called, like, for example, FES, which is one of those companies where they refer credit repair customers to. So most of the agents out there that are doing credit repair, a lot of them, they're not credit repair agents. They're credit repair referral systems, and they get $20 every month for every customer they refer. I'm actually somebody that does it myself. I actually take the time and do it myself. Unfortunately, today I got to the situation where I do a lot of business accounts because the personal accounts, I have so many of them, I don't have that staff. And to teach somebody to do what I do is very complicated. Because there's stuff and there's certain coding and there's certain things that you do with credit repair that you have to know what to do. And you have to be very organized. And it's something that, if you think insurance is regulated, imagine that 10 times harder. That's how bad credit repair is. If one person makes a complaint about you with a credit repair, you're done. You can't get back into it. That's why it's something that's so strict. That's why, people don't understand. With credit repair, for example, I'm not allowed to pull your credit. Most people don't know that. I cannot pull your credit. I'm a credit repair, but I can't pull your credit. You actually have to pull in, you have to give me the username and password to do it, to go into it for you. If I pull your credit and they found that I pulled your credit, I could lose my whole industry doing it. That's how strict this business is, that you cannot do that.
So the main key you would say is motivation, more than anything.
Motivation and be honest. Don't fuck around with people. If you fuck around people, people know it. Tell the people straight up. Are there going to be times that customers lie to you and tell you, I asked for this? Yes, it's going to happen. No, nobody's perfect in this world. So but you take that situation, you move and you go, okay, I'm sorry, it is what it is, and I move on. But don't be, if you want to be a millionaire in life, I always tell people, you want to make a lot of money in life and be a millionaire, don't be this person that, I'm always right. Learn to accept that you are at fault and people will respect you more. Then, I'm always right. You don't know anything, you're the one that's wrong, I'm always right.
Wow. That is very, very, very motivational, very inspirational. And I'm actually very surprised.
I appreciate everything and I appreciate you coming today. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I won't be taking up your time because I know you have a lot of work. But
no problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can do another one. We can do another one next week if you want.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Go ahead, take it out of there.